Now is working. Benzerka, hello. How is it going? So, we are almost at 6 months. Only. How are you? I'm fine. I'm amazing. I feel amazing. So, yeah, until 8 more days until we officially complete 6 months. 6 months. 180 days. Next week. I already started today. So you are on the second month. And how many days? 33 days. So we just keep going strong, never going to stop. And 3 more days, 3 more videos until we complete Genki. And we start with Game Gengo. After Genki, I'm going to start with Game Gengo. I will do a complete playlist of Game Gengo.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Genki team.
Well, okay, we need... okay, I need earphones as well. So, amazing. That's amazing. We just keep going strong. Never going to stop. Yeah. Okay, I think it's connected. We put it to USB speaker and we wear the earphones.
Lesson 21 live stream. Today we're going to...
We watched this video, lesson 21, and we will have tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, and we finish Genki finally. I just want to finish Genki. Don't think I will ever do Genki. No, I will do Genki one more time, but not now. So yeah, I want to do other stuff as well, not only Genki. I got tired. Not going to lie. I am tired of Genki. Want to do different stuff.
going to be covering passive sentences. Now, I know a lot of you have been having trouble with these, and I've always had trouble with passive sentences as well, so I want to go over them in detail today. We're going to have lots of extra examples for those, so stick around for that. We're also going to be covering things done for a purpose with te aru, and while, during, and between with aida ni, make something, insert adjective, and I want you to do something with te hoshi. These are our color codes, and before we jump into the lesson, I've got to do what I always do and talk quickly about them too. The first section tonight.
So yeah, I just want to go over the plan a little bit. Okay, so I have a plan I wrote. I don't know where did I put it. Japanese learning journey plan. So we will complete the tango. We are going to complete tango this week for sure, and we have 40 days to complete G-Lab. From 0 almost finished. We finished level videos, 92 videos out of 155. We do Genki 3 times, so we did it 1 time already. And in 2 days, we are going to finish all of the videos, finish second time. So, and I wrote everything down on my notebook. I wrote everything down. Then, but not now, maybe in a month or so, I'm going to read Genki 3rd edition and make video teaching every grammar point. I'll make a video on every grammar point. So the plan is going very well. We're completing Anki from 0 updated, 20 more videos, almost finish Genki, but after that we do Taikim and also Game Gengo challenge. Okay. This is very important. I'm going to start Game Gengo after Genki. Game Gengo. Videos. I still didn't make a video yet. And also games. I will play Shinchan. Not all of these games. No. I'm not going to play all of these games. But Shinchan. And videos. I still haven't made any videos yet. Short videos for each kanji. I want to make 2000 short videos for each kanji. And still didn't make video for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, and soon I have to make 150 days and 180 days. So yeah, the plan is going well for consistency, but for making videos and playing games is not. But anyways, hopefully I start soon. I must start. Okay, no, we don't need this.
Is passive sentences, and passive sentences can throw a lot of people off, and they threw me off for a very long time. So I decided to go ahead and put a lot of extra examples in here tonight to try and really nail it down. It still may be confusing, but hopefully it won't be too bad. At least making it isn't too difficult. To make the passive form, you can use Godan conjugation rules, or Godan katsuyo. So we got to go over what Godan katsuyo is really quickly. It's for verbs that end in u, tsu, mu, bu, nu, ku, gu, and su, and sometimes ru. You can conjugate them in into many different conjugations using a simple rule. Verbs that end in iru and eru are usually called ichidan verbs, but for passive sentences, ichidan verbs are treated in exactly the same way as godan verbs. So that's exciting, right? So to conjugate godan verbs, all you have to do is move them up and down a hiragana chart. Up and down a hiragana chart like this, and then add certain endings to the end of that. So for the passive form, both godan and ichidan verbs go up to the not the A column, but the A column, and then you add deru. So we move up to the A column. So for the verb aruku, which is to walk, it becomes aruka. And then you add deru. So aruku,
what?
aruka,
Arukareru.
column. So for the verb aruku, which is to walk, it becomes aruka. And then you add deru. So aruku, aruka, arukareru.
Arukareru. So that's passive voice. It's not teru. It's not tearu. Aru. What happened to my eyes? Arukareru. Arukareru.
Which is
Aruku. Okay. Aruku. Dictionary form. Dictionary form. Aruka. Aruka becomes arukareru, which is passive stem. Passive stem. Passive stem. Passive stem, arukareru. Okay. Arukareru. Okay.
is the passive form of to walk. Now, there are still two irregulars for the passive form, and those are suru and kuru. Suru becomes sareru. Sareru, that's the passive form of to do. And kuru, which is to come, becomes korareru. Korareru. So you just have to memorize those two irregular conjugations into the passive form. Korareru.
Wait, so
you just have to
even ichidan verbs, ichidan and ichidan are considered godan. Passive form of both godan and ichidan verbs are a column and plus reru. Okay.
not the A column, but
For ichidan verbs also the same. Passive form of both ichidan and godan. Passive voice for both ichidan, godan, and ichidan. Ichidan verbs. A column plus reru. A plus reru. Okay.
The a column and so aruku form, and those are suru and
So suru, sareru, suru becomes sareru. Suru becomes sareru. And kuru becomes koreru. Kureru. Ku becomes korareru. Ko. Korareru.
kuru. Suru becomes sareru. That's the passive form of to do. And kuru, which is to come, becomes korareru. So you just have to memorize those two irregular conjugations into the passive form. That's great and all. But what are passive sentences? Passive sentences are similar to what they are in English or in other languages. And that is, you're basically focusing on who something is happening to as opposed to who is doing the acting. So for example, we call them in Genki and in some other situations, the victim. So the person that the action is happening to, they're marked with wa. The person who is doing the thing, or the thing that is doing the thing, the nanika, the doer, person or thing, marked with ni. And then the object, if there is one in the sentence, takes o, and then sareru, the passive verb. So in Genki, they suggest that this is usually a bad thing that is happening to the, quote, victim. And passive sentences aren't always bad things. They can often imply that the thing that was happening to the, quote, victim was a bad thing, but that's not always the case. So we're going to go over a bunch of examples tonight to point out when that maybe is the case or when that isn't the case. Just keep in mind that passive sentences in Japanese are basically just like they are in English, and they
This I remember, yeah. 人は victim 何かをされる victim doer object act. Okay, victim doer person or thing, doer object. I remember object and act. Okay.
focus on the person who's being acted upon as opposed to the actor. The difference with Japanese is that, unlike in English, you can sort of use the passive form to suggest that things that aren't necessarily done directly to you affect you in some negative way. So for example, if your cat were to run away, you could say with the passive form essentially that my cat ran away on me. My cat ran away on me. You wouldn't use the passive form for that in English, but in Japanese, that's the way you would sort of express that. So let's go ahead and jump into some examples, and hopefully we can make it a little bit more clear. First, we're going to start with some simple examples, and then we're going to go into more specific nuances of the passive form, and hopefully get to iron it out that way. Very common phrase you're going to hear in the summer here in Japan is kani sasareta. Kani sasareta. A ka is a mosquito. I was bitten by a mosquito. So
kani sasareta. Kani sasareta. So mushi, of course, mushi. Mushi. I know the kanji for mushi plus this other thing which I don't know. Ka, which is of course ka. Kani. So sasareta. So mosquito is the doer, sasareta is the act, and I am the victim. 刺された。れた。刺された。Okay, I was bitten by.
In case you don't remember what the passive form is in English, it's basically has done a verb or is doing a verb. So it's a be verb, I believe, is what it's referred to. So was bitten as opposed to a mosquito bit me.
Yeah, I was bitten. Passive voice.
I was bitten by a mosquito. So we're focusing on me, the person who experienced the terrible thing, which is being bitten by a mosquito, as opposed to the mosquito who's doing the biting. So that's what passive is. It's focusing on the target of the action. So, 蚊に刺された. If there's no subject mentioned here, so 僕は蚊に刺された, if there's no subject, in this case 僕は, it's pretty much always assumed that it's the speaker. So, 蚊に刺された. You'll notice that 刺さる, 刺す is to stab as opposed to bite. For some reason we say bite in English for mosquito bites, but Japanese is a little bit more accurate. They say stabbed, which is more accurate if you think about it when we're talking about mosquito bites. So 蚊に刺された. So it's 刺す, so we went up to the a column, 刺される, and you conjugate passive forms of the verb, the deru, as an ichidan verb. So you just drop the do and add ta for the past tense. 刺された. I was bitten by a mosquito. 知らない人に殴られました. I was punched by a stranger. I was punched by a stranger. So far negative things, right? 知らない人, a stranger, に殴られました. 殴られました. So once again, you treat this form as an ichidan verb. You just drop the ru and add mashita for the past form, the polite past tense. 犬に足におしっこをされた. I had my leg peed on by a dog. So this English sentence is a bit weird, but this is probably how you would say it in Japanese. 犬に足におしっこされた. The dog peed on my leg, but we're focusing on me because it was done to me. How dare he? I had my leg peed on by a dog. 犬に足におしっこされた. So far negative still, yeah? Alright, next sentence. 俺はお菓子を見つけられました. I had my snacks found on me. So when we're talking about the passive form in a negative sense, you can sort of add the words on me. I had this happen to me, or someone did this on me, I guess is the similar English. We wouldn't necessarily use that in English in sentences like this, but it's the only way I could really sort of express that sort of it happened to me, how dare they, sort of nuance of a sentence like this. But that's not always the case. Not all sentences are nuanced like that. Sentence like
俺のお菓子
that sort of this.
俺のお菓子を見つけられました. I had my snacks found on me.
It happened to me is the case. Not all sentences are nuanced like that. So there's a couple types of passive form, and Genki refers to them a little bit differently than I'm going to be talking about them tonight. I pulled some of this information from all over the internet and a few other places to try and get it more accurate. I'm referring to the direct passive in a slightly different way than Genki refers to it. And I think this is a little bit more accurate. Direct passive means that an actor, usually a person, does something directly to the subject. In this case, me. So in the first sentence, right? 僕はお母さんに怒られた. My mother was angry at me. So I'm the focus of here. My mother was angry at me. Or my mom, I can't think of a great way to express this in English to make it sound like it does in Japanese, but my mother was angry at me is the translation. But 僕はお母さんに怒られた. My mother was angry at me. This is direct because my mom is being angry at me directly. So she's directly doing something to me. Next sentence is 友達に電話されて嬉しかったです. So here's a situation where it's not really negative. So once again, Genki pointed out that these are generally victim crimes and things are happening to them and they're not happy about it. But it depends on the context. In this case, I was called by my friend, but I was happy about it. So you're going to be noticing mostly by context whether or not it's a negative nuance being expressed here. In this case, 友達に電話されて嬉しかったです. Once again, this is a direct passive sentence because they directly called me. Next sentence, 銀行に電話されてめんどくさかったです. So I was called by the bank and it was a pain in the neck. めんどくさかったです. This case, it's basically the same sentence, but this is a negative nuance because you can tell from the adjective that comes after it. It was a pain in the neck. So I'm happy that my friend called me, not so happy that the bank called me. But maybe some days I don't feel like getting a phone call, so I wouldn't be happy if my friend called me. So just because 友達に電話された, if I said that, doesn't necessarily mean it's positive. So you just have to pay attention to the context around the sentences to figure out whether it is positive or negative. But you can often assume that if there is no other context, that perhaps it was a negative experience. So the indirect passive, this is the type of sentence that is unique to Japanese. We don't really say stuff like this in English. This is unique to Japanese because you basically say that you feel like someon did something to you even though they didn't intentionally do it to you. Like this sentence. 背が高い人に前に立たれた. I was stood in front of by a tall person. So we wouldn't use the passive for this in English. That's not how we would express this. We would say a tall person stood in front of me. I was stood in front of by a tall person. It's not a very good sentence in English. It might work, but we don't really say it that way. So 背が高い人に前に立たれた. This works because the person isn't doing anything directly to me. The person is just going and standing there. But I feel like it's being done to me, so I can use the passive here. And this would be referred to in many books, maybe not Genki, as the indirect passive. So usually actions are done by people for indirect and for direct, but there are some exceptions to this, very few of them, but one of them is 雨に降られた. I was rained on. So this is one of the few situations where you might be able to use the passive form for inanimate objects, but you're basically personifying the rain in this sentence. So 雨に降られた. I was rained on by the rain, basically. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense in English, but just know that this is a sentence that you may encounter. 雨に降られた. I was rained on. That makes sense in English, actually, but anyway. So one other thing we need to talk about is particles. If you remember, we go back up to the top. We had the person, the victim, or the person who's being acted upon is marked by wa. And then the actor is marked by ni. And then the action that they did. But there are some situations where you will use other particles. One of those is, for example, you can use the passive with inanimate objects, actually. So, for example, この家は泥から作られています. This house is made from mud. Is made from mud. So in this case, we're using the passive to talk about, we're focusing on the house. So the house is the main thing we want to focus on in this sentence. And we want to mention that it's made from mud. So we wouldn't mark mud with ni. We would mark it with kara. So when you're talking about what something is made from, you would use kara. The next sentence is マリオは任天堂さんによって作られています. Now for, once again, Mario, if you think of him as a person, this sentence doesn't really work. But if you think of him like a character, like a made thing,
thank you very much,
works because when you're talking,
I cannot concentrate, to be honest. Very tired. I need to sleep.
About a person or a company
Maybe watch
that made
half of the video, 25 minutes, and we finish the rest tomorrow.
Generally an inanimate object. You'll use によって. So I think the example in Genki for this one was like この絵はピカソによって
But I understand.
描かれた.
I cannot concentrate, but I understand. I understand what he's saying. I remember everything because I read it before. I read this chapter and I think I got it very well.
ています. So this picture was drawn by Picasso. In this case, I'm saying Mario is made by Nintendo. So when an inanimate object or a thing or a character or a product is made by a company or a person, you're going to use によって as opposed to に. So those are the particles. In a formal setting, especially writing によって is preferred over に. 落書きはピカソによって描かれた. この落書きはピカソに描かれた. The doodle was drawn by Picasso. So I guess in a formal setting, especially in writing, によって is preferred over に. 食べられる is the same in potential and passive. They look the same though. Yes. So potential and passive forms, especially for ichidan verbs, they look exactly the same. but from context, you'll know. Like, 食べられた. If you're talking about getting eaten by a tiger, 虎に食べられた. I was eaten by a tiger. Nobody's going to make the mistake and think that you mean that you can eat the tiger. The ni particle also helps with that. 虎を食べられました would mean that I was able to eat the tiger. So the o particle sort of differentiates those, but with the ni particle, 虎に食べられました means I was eaten by a tiger. Or if there's a different subject like 肉は虎に食べられました, that means that the meat was eaten by the tiger. But so then the subject makes it obvious which one we're using. 肉は虎を食べられたって, that doesn't make any sense. What I just said was that the meat was able to eat the tiger. So with particles and context, it's very obvious whether or not it's passive or potential. Though the conjugations do often look the same, especially for ichidan verbs. So let's go over some slightly more complicated examples. I don't know, I may have confused you even more now, but we'll see. Hopefully these final, more complicated examples can help you out a little bit. So, 12歳の頃、お母さんに全部の日記を見つけられました。Around the time I was 12, all of my journals were found by my mother. 12歳の頃、お母さんに全部の日記を見つけられました。
So you add ni is added to the doer. Okay. The victim gets the wa, or sometimes it's not mentioned. The victim is not mentioned. And o is the object. O is the for the object, of course. And of course the passive voice.
All my journals are found by my mother.
Is the act.
So this is slightly more complicated, but it's a very basic, direct, passive sentence. My mom is the actor. I am obviously the victim, and she found all of my journals. So my journals were all found by my mother. 猫は犬に追いかけられた. So up until now, we've either had inanimate objects or myself as the subject of the sentences, but that doesn't have to be the case. In this case, I'm making something else the subject of the sentence. In this case, a cat. 猫は犬に追いかけられた. The cat was chased by the dog. I'm sure the cat's not happy about it, but it's a pretty sort of just...
Neko is the victim. Wa gets wa. Inu, the doer, gets ni. And the act, oikakerareta, which is the passive voice, is the act.
Just descriptive sentence of what's going on. We see a cat. We want to focus the sentence on the cat, not the fact that the dog is doing the chasing. So we say, 猫は犬に追いかけられた. So that's basically, this sentence sort of really expresses when you'd want to use this. If you wanted to focus on the fact that, look at that dog, it's chasing the cat, you don't use the passive. If you want to think about the cat, the poor cat who's being chased, and you want to focus on it, then you use the passive to say, 猫は犬に追いかけられた. Next sentence is, 友達はレイさんにデートに誘われました. My friend was asked on a date by Miss Day. So Genki pointed out actually that sentences like this, particularly being asked on a date and a few other different situations, are not necessarily negative. I think that a lot of different passive sentences are not necessarily negative, and it's very much dependent on the context, not the verb. So just because デートに誘われました, just because that sentence is being used doesn't mean it's not negative. And it's a little bit confusing in the way Genki wrote it, because you could think that. You could read what they're explaining in Genki and say, okay, so if it's デートに誘われました, that means it's a positive thing. And that's not necessarily the case. If the person who we're saying this sentence to knows that my friend hates Rei-san, then of course this is a negative sentence. 友達はレイさんにデートに誘われました. Right? But if I don't think that, then maybe my friend is happy that they invited her. So the whole, like, the massive focus on it being negative is maybe a little bit out of place in the Genki lesson. It's a little bit...
It's not negative, because it's a normal passive voice. Why would it be negative? When I was reading, they said like victim and very negative. So tomodachi wa victim, but it's the the person or the thing that's being acted on, doer gets ni, de to ni, also ni, which instead of o, which is the thing that the doer is doing, and the act. Okay.
Because it's really just, we're focusing on my friend instead of Dei-san who did the asking. Next sentence. このスマホは Google によって作られました。So once again, we have an inanimate object here. We've got このスマホ and it was made by Google. So we use によって as opposed to に. If we were talking about that it was made from metals or something, we would use から。
This one was made by Google. このスマホは Google によって作られました。This smartphone, このスマホ was made by
スマホは金属から作られました。So this phone was made from metal. That's when we would use から. Those are the particles. So let's go ahead and jump into the dialogue. I'll read it slowly once, then at full speed all over the English. Then we'll do question time and I'll get to your questions and see if I've confused you even more. All right, we've got Yuki and Andy, I think, here. So 安藤さんに冷蔵庫のものを全部食べられちゃった。俺は毎週あいつに食べ物を食べられちゃうんだよ。あと昨日夜10時に来られてソファで寝られたよ。たまに失礼だね、あの人。そして今朝車を使われたんだ。マジ Full speed. 安藤さんに冷蔵庫のものを全部食べられちゃった。俺は毎週あいつに食べ物を食べられちゃうんだよ。あと昨日夜10時に来られてソファで寝られたよ。たまに失礼だね、あの人。そして今朝車使われたんだ。マジ Let's jump over the English. I've got a few extra little points to add into here. 安藤さんに冷蔵庫のものを全部食べられちゃった。安藤さん ate all of the food in my fridge on me. So the passive form when it's being used in a negative sense is very frequently combined, at least in my experience with てしまう. In this case, this is the shortened form because we're having a casual conversation between friends. てしまう, if you remember, becomes ちゃった for verbs that end in て and じゃった for verbs whose て form would end in で. So 食べられちゃった. So he completely ate shortened form because we're having in my experience with てしまう. In this case, this is the shortened form.
It's a shimao, yes.
So the passive form when it's being used in a negative sense is very frequently combined, at least in my experience, with てしまう. In this case, this is the shortened form because we're having a casual conversation between friends. てしまう, if you remember, becomes ちゃった for verbs that end in て and じゃった for verbs whose て form would end in で. So 食べられちゃった. So he completely ate all of the food in my fridge on me. 俺は I guess up here this was ふん and we changed it to ふむ. It basically means the same thing. 俺は毎週あいつに食べ物を食べられちゃうんだ. Now I know what you're talking about, Dan. I didn't realize. I thought you were just laughing at ふむ. He eats all of the food on me every week. So all of these are in the negative sense, just so you know. あと昨日夜10時に来られてソファで寝られたよ. Also, yesterday he showed up at 10 p.m. and slept on my sofa. The English here I didn't put into the passive form, but the English should probably be something more along the lines of, see, this is something we would really say very much in English, but he came to my house on me, or he has come to my house on me and he slept on the sofa on me. It doesn't really make sense in English, right? But in Japanese, this all makes sense. たまに失礼だね、あの人. Yep, sometimes he's rude, that guy. そして今朝車を使われたんだ. Also, this morning he used my car on me. マジ? Seriously? マジ? Seriously. All right, so question time. Tell us something that happened to or which was done to you that you're not very happy about. My sentence is アムステルダムに行った時、誰かに日記を盗まれました. If you didn't notice, it's a common theme in my life that people find and steal my journals. So this was the last time I ever wrote a journal. When it was stolen from me, I had walked across Spain for 2 months. I'd spent 2 months on foot walking across Spain, writing a journal every day in this really cool leather-bound journal, super thick. And I had hitchhiked from Spain to Paris and then met some friends there for a week. And then I hitchhiked from Paris to Berlin and I was writing in my journal every single day. I had to sleep in a park. I slept in a field on the first day of hitchhiking. I slept in a park on the second day out of Paris. And then I finally made it to Berlin to my friend's house. And then I worked on a sheep farm for a week, writing journals every day. And then on the way back from the sheep farm to meet another friend in England, I met some people because I missed a train in Belgium, in Brussels. I missed the last train. And I met some guys in the town square. And I stayed with them and we went to Amsterdam the next day because they were shocked that I had never been there. And while we were out and about in the town, when we got back to their car had been broken into and my backpack was stolen. The only thing I really cared about that was in there at the time was that journal that had 4 months of travel, basically blogs written in it. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move on to things done for a purpose.
That sentence was long.
Blogs written in it.
行った時 when I went アムステルダムに行った時 when I went to Amsterdam 誰かに日記をthis one Nikki means diary. Someone 盗まれました. Someone stole my Nikki. When I went to Amsterdam, someone stole my Nikki. So, what was something done to me? I was stolen. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways, I can't think of anything.
Bye.
Okay. So, tearu, we have tearu. We have, I think, aidani or something. We have make something adjective. And tehoshi. Okay, tehoshi is easy. Tearu is easy. Not sure what aidani is. And make something adjective. Let's just do a little bit of Anki. Okay. And after finishing Anki, we either continue with Genki or we wrap it up. Let's see. Let's finish Anki now and see. エアコンを修理をしてください。
エアコンを修理してください。
修理してください。エアコンを修理してください。かしこまりました。少しお待ちください。
かしこまりました。少々お待ちください。
少々お待ちください。Please wait a little bit. Okay. ドアを開けないでください。
ドアを開けないでください。
開けないでください。1週間に1回失礼します。
1週間に1回洗濯します。
洗濯します。1週間に1回洗濯します。これは立ちます。 This is helpful. 役に立ちます。
これは
役
役に立ちます。
役に立ちます。これは役に立ちます。エアコンが故障しました。
エアコンが故障しま
故
した。
障しました。エアコンは故障しました。エアコンが故障しました。父に辞書をもらいました。父に辞書をもらいました。I got a 辞書 from my father.
父に
父に
辞書をもらいました。
もらいました。I know this. 約束の時間を変えます。約束の時間を変えます。変えます。
約束の時間を変えます。
約束の時間を変えます。電気をつけると明るくなります。明るくなります。電気をつけると明るくなります。So, if you turn on the light, it becomes bright. 明るい。
電気をつけると明るくなります。
電気をつけると明るくなります。That's 上着。上着を書きま、or 上着を to wear 履きます。着ます。
上着を着ます。
上着を着ます。上着を着ます。着る to wear 着る。上着 we have 下着 and we have 上着。お世話になりました。いいえ。こちらこそ。お世話になりました。いいえ。こちらこそ。
お世話になりました。
いいえ、こちらこそ。
お世話になりました。いいえ。こちらこそ。鶏肉、チキン。
鶏肉。
鶏肉。この荷物は軽いですね。重いですね。重いです。
この荷物は重いですね。
この荷物は重いですね。図書館に本を貸します。
図書館に本を返します。
返す to return。図書館に本を返します。That's 南、south。
南。
昨日 or あさって is after tomorrow or おととい。
おととい。
日本語学校を見学しました。
日本語学校を見学しました。
日本語学校を見学しました。はじめまして。
はじめまして。
I don't know this 漢字。I don't even know this. なりたいです。Want to be a scientist or something. This one means future. 将来 something. 将来。
研究者になりたいです。
将来。This one is right. That's why I knew it. And show, I don't know how I knew show, but it's 将来 the future. 研究者になりたいです。
将来、研究者になりたいです。
研究者になりたいです。I want to become a scholar in the future. Isn't this 冷蔵庫 It is.
It
is. Isn't this 野菜 It is 野菜 It is. はじめに日本へ来ました。 Isn't this called 去年の初めに日本を来ました。
去年の初めに日本へ来ました。
It is. 去年の初めに日本へ来ました。
去年の初めに日本へ来ました。
去年の初めに日本へ来ました。飲み物はその That's shelf, which is Tana or Tama. Tana.
飲み物はその棚です。
飲み物はその棚です。That's not kutsu, that's kaban.
カバン、
Kaban, it is kaban, it is. So this one means leather, and this one is, I don't know what it is, but it's kaban. So kutsu has also the similar leather kanji with something else. So outside country, foreign country, which is gakunin 手紙を出します。
外国に手紙を出します。
外国に手紙を出します。外国。弟のパソコンを貸します。
弟のパソコンを直します。
直します。弟のパソコンを直します。毎日天気の番組を見ます。天気の番組を見ます。番組 means program。番組を見ます。毎日天気の番組を見ます。
毎日天気の番組を見ます。
天気の番組を見ます。行きます。I know this kanji, but I forgot.
病院へ行きます。
病院へ行きます。上着 or
上着。
になりました。I don't know.
病気になりました。
病気になりました。It has the similar kanji with hospital. 病院。父はのです。
父は経済の研究者です。
経済の研究者です。姉の something. Yuki, こんばんは。How is it going? So yeah, today is going to be quick one. Quick one, 1 hour, almost 1 hour. But yeah, not long. A little bit tired, so we already did half of this video of this lesson, and the rest I think we're going to do it tomorrow. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't continue. I'll just finish Anki, and maybe we do Tearu. Tearu is easy. We'll see. So that's 姉の夫は会社員です。
姉の夫は会社員です。
会社員です。That's 頭 or お腹。頭。That's 間。黒いスカートを履きます。
黒いスカートを履きます。
黒いスカートを履きます。これは家族の写真です。これは家族の写真です。So 写真 and 家族 I believe it's 家族 It has to be 家族。家族 and 写真 I saw it so many times in the asadas. The asadas. Amazing movie, asadas. Wait, asadas is also the meat of the... in Argentina, by the way. Asadas is the Argentina's meat. Asado. Asado is the technique. Because I was watching a documentary the other day. World party in Argentina. World party TV show. Argentina, okay. In Argentina. And they were eating asadas.
Elinides que Elines. My name is Javier and I'm a certified psychologist from Buenos Aires, Argentina. During the World Party visit, I will have the chance to...
για πολύ καιρό στο εξωτερικό. Asadas.
Sometimes he likes to do.
I put all the food and I put here the charcoal. The secret is if you put your hands over here, put your hand, try. It's not so hot. We'll take your hands. And the other thing is, you see the noise, right? It's, you see?
The asado thing is like the whole...
Asado.
See the noise, right? It's, you see?
The asado thing is like the whole gathering, you know? The whole gathering is called asado. But then you have the special part of the cow that is called asado de tira.
Why they call them asado? Asado, this one, with the bone.
Asado with the bone. Okay, so... Argentinians believe that they have the best grill. They believe. I don't believe so. I don't believe Argentinians have the best. But asadas is the technique. But yeah, what was I saying? I even forgot. So shashin. So from this movie, we have kazoku, the kanji for kazoku, and the kanji for shashin. Shashin. これは家族の写真です. I saw shashin and kazoku so many times in this movie. Amazing movie. Yeah, I think I wrote something on Discord and on the community. But yeah, great movie. I think I will watch it again one time. But これは家族の写真です。
これは家族の写真です。
これは家族の写真です。1週間に1回洗濯します。
1週間に1回洗濯します。
上着着ます。上着を着ます。上着を着ます。
上着を着ます。
上着を着ます。上着を着ます。図書館に本を返します。
図書館に本を返します。
本を返します。将来、scholar or something になりたいです。I want to become a scholar in the future. 将来 in the future, 将来 of course.
将来研究者になりたいです。
将来研究者になりたいです。Okay. 弟のパソコンを直します。
弟のパソコンを直します。
直します。outside country, which becomes外国に手紙を出します。
外国に手紙を出します。
外国に手紙を出します。病気になりました。
病気になりました。
病気になりました。Okay. So done with this one, we do G-Lab. Let's just do G-Lab. By the way, or no. Okay.
忘れられるものか。
忘れられるものか。忘れられるものか。
用意してあるよ。
用意してあるよ。用意してあるよ。By the way, the other one I didn't translate. 忘れられるものか。I think you can forget. Can we forget it? Like, is it a thing we can forget? 用意してあるよ。用意してあるよ means we are prepared. 用意してあるよ。We are prepared. Preparations have been completed.
失うもの
は大きいぞ。失うものは大きい。
なぜ嘘を
なぜ嘘をつく。なぜ嘘をつく。なぜ嘘をつく。
これ見ちゃったからね。
これ見ちゃったからね。これ見ちゃったからね。Because I saw it by accident. I accidentally saw it. これ見ちゃったからね。accidentally saw this.
よく頑張ったよ。
よく頑張ったよ。本当に。よく頑張ったよ。本当に。
離れていくよ。
離れていくよ。離れていくよ。to let go. I think I let go.
何を企んでいる？
何を企んでいる？何を企んでいる？I forgot what 企んでいる means. What are you 企んでいる？ Forgot.
先生泣いちゃうぞ。
先生泣いちゃうぞ。先生泣いちゃうぞ。
先生泣いちゃうぞ。
先生泣いちゃうぞ。先生 cries. 先生 cries. 先生泣いちゃうぞ。
すべての問題は人間の心から来るんだよ。
すべての問題は人間の心から来るんだよ。
気づいていないのか。
気づいていないのか。気づいていないのか。気づいていないのか。You are not noticing this? Question mark?
自分に何ができるかをずっと考えていた。
自分に何ができるかをずっと考えていた。
大丈夫。
大丈夫。
僕がいる。
大丈夫。僕がいる。大丈夫。僕がいる。
食べますけど。
食べますけど。食べますけど。I eat, but.
最後に笑うのは。
最後に笑うのは。
悲しみに負けてはならない。
悲しみに負けてはならない。悲しみに負けてはならない。You must not be defeated by sorrow. You must not.
誰かが
俺を呼んでいる。
誰かが
誰かが俺を呼んでいる。
最後に笑うのは。
最後に笑うのは。
誰か
が俺を呼んでいる。Okay, done with Genki, with Anki. So now we either continue or maybe we sleep and continue tomorrow.
Te aru is used for things that were te oku'd by someone, and you basically just take the te form and add the verb aru onto it as an auxiliary verb. So what te aru is, there's no actor in a te aru sentence. So what happens is, for example, if someone wants to tell me that dinner is made, not that they made it. For example,
yeah, we watch tomorrow. I cannot concentrate. I cannot concentrate. Tomorrow, we continue tomorrow. So tomorrow tomorrow will definitely be in the afternoon, not at night, because at night I won't be able. And tomorrow I will not work. So afternoon we do a long one. We watch 25 minutes and this 1 hour. Yeah, I have to watch these two tomorrow. So we have te aru, easy. Tehoshi also easy. These ones, I don't remember what they are. Maybe this one I remember. Aidani. But yeah, we could continue tomorrow. Yeah. Benzerka, thank you very much for pushing me. For coming by, also saying hello. And of course, Yuki, thank you very much. And matashita. Oyasumi nasai. I will go sleep now. Otsukare-sama deshita. Otsukare-sama. Thank you very much. I pushed through. So even if we are tired, I watched 24 minutes, 25 minutes. And also we did Anki. Very well. I remembered a couple of kanji, which was very good. Wait, I have to... I just saw some green too. Sanchin. Okay, anyways. So, yeah, thank you very much, Yuki. And, of course, matashita. 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 And oyasuminasai. And, of course, tomorrow. Tomorrow, we continue tomorrow. I have to write it on YouTube as well. Matashita. Oyasuminasai. Tomorrow again. Tomorrow stronger than now. And we just keep going. Never stop. Good.
Καλώς ορίσατε στη Βολιβία.
Και όπως καταλαβαίνετε, το σημερινό επεισόδιο είναι special. Και γιατί είναι special? Γιατί έχουμε μαζί μας τη Χριστίνα Μπόμπα.
Ή αλλιώς, το άλλο μου μισό, τον έρωτα της ζωής μου.
Οι τρεις μας θα εξερευνήσουμε και θα σας δείξουμε τη Βολιβία.
Guys, I'm here also.
Ναι, οκ. Έφερα και εγώ την αγάπη της ζωής μου. Τον Αργεντίνο το τρελό! Ριγίνιο!
Αυτό που βλέπετε όμως, δεν είναι η αρχή της ιστορίας μας. Αυτό είναι το τέλος.
Όπα, μισό λεπτό ρε παιδιά. Τι κάνει η Χριστίνα Μπόμπα στο reunion? Καλύτερα ας πάρουμε τα πράγματα από την αρχή.
Come on, let's go.